Today's devotional is from 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 2, where Peter says, "To God's people who have been chosen according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through the sanctifying work of the Spirit to be obedient to Jesus Christ and sprinkled with his blood." It should be so comforting to know that God chose us to be his children. We didn't choose him, though that's a nice thought. The truth is, we had no ability to choose him in our current state, but out of love, he chose us. Well, just sit in that for a moment this morning. He chose us. He loved us so much to choose us. But the question is, what did God choose us for? You know, as Christians and as productive Americans, we can place all sorts of action reasons or productive tasks upon our choosing. Like, we should make something of our lives, not waste them. We should strive, achieve, accomplish, or more spiritually, like he chose us to be bold for him, share our faith, serve him more, show love to the hurting and the homeless. And maybe practical, like he chose us to go to church, be in fellowship, and go to life groups, and teach our kids about him, and provide for them, and have a great marriage, and avoid temptation, and stop sinning. Oh my goodness, how exhausting. It's no wonder we come into the new year tired, and all these things may not be bad things. Some of them are needed things, but they may not be the right things you've been chosen to do in Jesus Christ. Would you be willing to admit that not everything you're doing in this season is something that King Jesus wants you to be doing? Even some of the good things. We're so busy, but how much of what we're doing is Jesus calling us to? And what should we be doing? I know that sounds complex. I don't know. Tell me, God, but it really is that easy. Look at this verse again. Peter says, "You have been chosen to be obedient to Jesus Christ." Your word for today is obedience. And that's not always a fun word, but we have been chosen to obey Jesus Christ. Why? Well, because he's our King. He's the one who died and sprinkled his blood upon us. But he didn't just die to forgive us of sin so we could go along our merry way trying to figure life out and this craziness. He died to bring us into his kingdom. And in our new life now we partner with him in what he's doing. So he's inviting us to do his things as the King. And we've been chosen to obey him in all those things. So what are the things he's asking you to obey? That's a great question. Everyone asks that question. And it's one of the reasons we're having you do this fast. Because as you make room, as you press in, as you pray, Peter says, through the sanctifying work of the Holy Spirit, you begin to see and hear King Jesus better. As the TV is off, as you avoid temptation or busyness, as you're resting in your spirit and pressing in and abiding in Jesus in prayer, don't just ask Jesus to help you to be strong for the fast. Ask him to speak to you. Ask him to reveal things to your resting soul. What is King Jesus telling you? About your life right now, your direction, the things you need to stop doing that make you weary and exhausted, what you're aspiring to do in life. And it said the things he would love for you to be doing now that you're making time and listening, and he can just tell you. These 3 weeks could be the most powerful time of your life if you're learning how to hear your King, because that will last a lifetime and result in so much more abundant life than ever before. If, when you hear him, you obey. There's that word, obey, obedience. That's tough because some of the things he's going to tell you to do may be hard to do, like continue to give up TV or social media for the rest of the year, or offer forgiveness to someone you've been holding something on to, or sacrificing something valuable to help somebody in real need, or maybe just be like Jesus to your neighbor who's been parking on the grass in front of your swale. In fact, you probably know you've heard from Jesus if he's asking you to do something tough. But here's what's cool. Peter tells us all this can happen, and all this will happen through the sanctifying work of the Holy Spirit. Here's the point. If you hear Jesus on something, stop doing this or start doing that hard thing. And if you choose to obey as you were chosen to do, then he promises the Holy Spirit who is in you will activate dunamos power, dynamite power within you to accomplish that work. You're not alone. He wants to help you accomplish those things. And the more you hear Jesus and do his things, the more you will look like Jesus and look like his life. And that's the point of it all, right? And here's one last result. You're going to love this. You will experience the full, abundant, enriching, non-exhausting, overflowing life that he promised you. And that could make 2026 look like no other year in your life. So make this season of fasting not so much about how 2026 is going to be great, but how your ability to hear King Jesus is going to be great, and how through that obedience, your life is going to be great and so fulfilling, and not just in 2026, but to everyone around you and for every year after. Life Coach, have a great day and a great rest of the fast. Hear the King.